All right, first leg of the epic journey is finished. So we are looking at 34 miles done, 88% battery left, temperature's gone up a bit. One of the beauties about electric cars, I went inside, I haven't gone anywhere, just come back out to the car now. As you can see, the time has changed a little bit. This was a couple hours ago. Now the car tells me I can travel even further than I can when I arrived here. The temperature's only gone up by 1.5 degrees, if that. I'm still on 88% battery. That's a beauty. Okay, so we're right at the end of leg 2. We have got 78% left in the battery, 210 miles at a 9.5 degree day. So what have I done today then? So everything's gone up to 4 miles per kilowatt hour, 71 miles covered today, and lost 22%. As far as I am concerned, that is a win. On my way to Manchester, 250 miles is what it normally is. And so far, we've left Kent, stopped off in Bexley for a few bits today, and then came up to London to overnight at my mother-in-law so that I can be nice and fresh. So tomorrow morning, I should have about 180 odd miles to go. And I don't intend to charge the battery tonight, so I want to see what we get. But what I also want to do in this video is document how much it actually cost me to do that 250 miles. There's a lot of videos out there, people talking a lot of rubbish about how much it's costing. Electric cars are costing as much as petrol cars, and I don't agree with that. Alright guys, so you catch me in the morning trying to head off now to my destination up north. This is leg number 3 of the journey, and let's put my phone down there. And what I've discovered so far, because I was entering the data into the sat-nav, told it where I was going. I'm going all the way up to Wigan. It's 192 miles away. And the car obviously says I can't make it that far, even though the trip computer is telling me I can do 209 miles on the 78% I've got right now. But the car is forcing me to stop in Milton Keynes to do a charge at some Ionity chargers there. And I can't seem to change it because I don't want to stop in Milton Keynes. I want to go a bit further along and stop in Staffordshire, because there's some Ionity chargers there as well. But I can't seem to, maybe somebody can tell me about this, but I can't seem to change the car's mind. It's made its mind up, and I can't seem to change the car's mind on where I want to stop. It's told me you are stopping there for 6 minutes and then you are moving on. It's really annoying, and I can't seem to change it. So anyway, that's an hour from now. And the longer I sit here chatting with you guys, the more time I'm burning. So let's get going. So I want to get this out the way real quick, right? I know in my last video I talked about the fact that it was snowing. This is my last video, my Autumn 2 update. It was snowing, and I was having really good traction in the car with the tires that I've got. Now, I'm not a tire expert, and I've been called on it because a few people were asking me about the type of tires that I got. And like I said, not a tire expert. Now, I thought for sure that I had all season tires, because that's the kind of tires we tend to get here in the UK on our cars, because our cold season tends to be really short. But it turns out that it's not. The Hankook tires I've got, they're not all season, they're summer tires. And because I was deliberately being careful in my driving on snow and ice, the car was performing quite nicely, as you can see, as you saw in my last video. However, now the snow is gone, we are in February, we're coming to the end of the winter season. It's still a bit cold, like even now it's like 7.5 degrees at the minute, and so on. Coming to the end of the winter season, I am starting to I've had some squeaky bum moments, let's just say that, some soil your pants moments. And the reason why I've had those moments is first of all started one cold morning. The road just seems pretty normal, and I did notice that while driving, doing the school run with my son in the car, that the car seems to be a bit unstable. Now on the country roads you will have that because they're not really that much treated, and I could have well been driving on black ice, who knows, and anybody with any car would have problems with that. But I was going around a roundabout in Langley, and I was doing about 20 miles an hour because I knew the road was a bit sketchy, and I was feeling the car not feeling too great on the road, and it didn't feel planted. And going around a roundabout 20 miles an hour, slowed down nice and slow, and the back went out. The back of the car went straight out, and I was like, what is this? What is this voodoo that's actually happening at the minute? And I ain't gonna lie, I got scared because the car wasn't supposed to do that, and it did that. And ever since then, you know, this last week, even though the temperatures come up a bit, you know, 8, 9, 10 degrees, that sort of stuff, I just find that the car is really, really unstable. So these tires that I've got on, I think they're not the best, because at 8, 9, 10 degrees, that's not cold. Well, it's cold for some people, but the road conditions are pretty good, and it should have been all right. And all you need is a little bit of rain water on the road. And in the country, you know, you might have a little bit of mud that comes down. And yes, I am conscious of the fact that I might be contradicting myself here, because if there's mud on the road, then the car is going to be a bit sketchy and stuff like that. But in the country, you know, there are no drainage systems where I live. It's a mountain on that side, and there is the road. You know, on all that water that runs off the mountain and the hills and stuff like that, that's coming onto the road with all sorts. And the car was just not happy with that at all. Now, the reason why I mention it is because 2 cars ago, when I had a tiny break from BMW, I had a Range Rover. And yes, I know I shouldn't compare them two, because that's not apples for apples. But hear me out. I had a Range Rover, used to drive on the same road in the same conditions with the same problems. And that was much better planted. And I think that it's down to the tires, because this car is not that much lighter than that Range Rover was. Okay, this is 2.2 tons. The Range Rover was about 2.3, 2.4 tons. Really not that much of a difference, you know. I mean, yes, 200 kilos, but still, you know. And it was a lot better planted on the road. And yes, the Range Rover was all-wheel drive, and this car is rear-wheel drive, and I get all of that. But the point I'm making is that this car, in those conditions, it wasn't confidence inspiring. You know, it didn't give me the confidence that I normally have in this car in normal conditions. Even with rain and surface water, this car is usually planted and going. But on the country roads, it does not like those roads. And so for that reason, you know, as soon as I get an opportunity to change tires, I am not going to go back to these tires. So I've come for a stop. My car is charging. I already had my mind set on going for a wee. This is what I got to put up with. Now, I don't have 30p. I don't have 20p. I have no money. So I can't go for a wee. I've already told my bladder we're going for a wee, and now we're not. Why do I need to pay for a wee? Okay, so now that the wee debacle has been sorted out, and I'm ever so slightly disappointed in the fact that I couldn't relieve myself because I don't have any cash on me. No one in today's day and age walks with cash. But anyway, this is what you get if you come to the stop at Milton Keynes. But on a good note though, I want to show you something really cool. This is like charger heaven. So we got the 4 Ionity chargers. There's a whole load of BP Pulse chargers over there. I've just come back in the car, and what's supposed to happen is the car is supposed to go, "Well done for making your first stop, sir. That's very nice of you to obey me and make that stop and take a little bit of charge. Now we shall continue on our journey." No, the car did not do that. Instead, what it's doing right now is updating the map. Right in the middle of my journey. It's a good thing I know where I'm going. Otherwise, I'll be up something creek without a shovel or a paddle or one of those sort of tools that you need to move that something about. The update is finished, and the car has no recollection of the fact that we are actually going somewhere. So now, that's my map. It's not actually doing or saying anything at the minute. Let's get away from this guy because he's not concentrating on what he's doing and he's weaving in the lane too close to me. So now I'm going to have to stab at the screen a little bit to tell it, to remind it that we were actually going somewhere. Now, I did say that I want to document how much it's going to cost to do this journey. I'm not going to calculate, I'm not going to put in the charge at home because I charge at home every week anyway. I charge the car once a week, and I use it to go to and from work every day and do the school run and all that sort of stuff. So that's habit for me, and I normally charge it to 100% as well. So that's habit, I'm not even counting that in. However, for this journey, I will tell you right now, I'm doing 250 miles, and so far, it's only going to cost me £2.60. Why you say that? Well, that stop that I just made there for 6 or 7 minutes or whatever the case might be, I took 10 kilowatts, and it's going to be costing me 26p per kilowatt. Times that by 10, £2.60. That's how much it's going to cost me to do this 250 mile trip. So yeah, anybody can beat that, except you're charging for free. When I get to the other end and I go to my aunt's, that's going to be a free charge. I might give her some money towards it, but you know, and she's probably on a standard variable tariff just like me at home, paying 35p or something like that. But even if you take that into consideration, you're still spending minimal amount of money. I'll actually do the calculations and I'll let you know. It was 31%. To make 100%, we need 69%. Okay, cool. So that's 57 kilowatts that I've taken at home, and 57 kilowatts is times by 35p per kilowatt. So that's, say, £20 plus my £2.50 or £2.60 that I've just got. That's £22.60. That's if I consider the charge at home, but I'm not considering it because, like I said, that is habit. I normally charge at home anyway. So yeah, even if we want to bring that in, but I'm only thinking about the public charging, like the ones that will affect me on a long journey, and that's basically it, to £2.60. All right, just a quick one for you. I have got a setting where I tell the car to change the speed limit based on what's going on the road, and that means I never have to worry about speed cameras. I don't even bother looking for them. So we're about to come up to a 60-mile-an-hour restriction now on the motorway. The sign is coming up right there. Let's see if the car's going to pick it up. Yes, she did. Look, and it's dropping the speed now to 60. That's amazing. I absolutely love that. That's beautiful. So now the car just reads the sign and I just keep going. I don't have to worry about putting my foot on the brakes or anything. It just does it all for me. Well, thank you very much, my beautiful i4. That's really good. Now, I know someone will probably get upset with me because of the way I'm holding my steering wheel. My arms are resting on my lap and I'm just holding my steering wheel. Well, before you get upset with me, think about it this way. I'm just a chaperone. The car is doing all the work. Now, if you've been lucky enough to have a daughter who is old enough to go to the prom, you know, she's finished school, she's going off to the prom. This is the best analogy I got, by the way. So, you know, you're a dad, you're very proud, And so you're going to drop her off wherever the prom place is, you know. And you're just the chaperone. She is fully in control. You are not in control. You are just the muscle. And that's exactly what's happening here. I am the muscle, but the car is doing all the work. One of the boxes that I absolutely love the fact that I ticked is the box where the car drives to keep itself in lane, it keeps itself, and it doesn't bounce, but like it's dead straight in the lane. And I'm just holding on to the wheel just so that the car knows that I'm here, I'm still in control. Set the cruise control on, so it keeps me a safe distance from the car in front of me. But not only that, like you saw just a moment ago, when the speed limit on the road changes, the car automatically adjusts to that speed limit. There's a small problem with that switch. I'll tell you what the problem is now. If you're driving down the road and you've got your speed limit set and all that sort of stuff and the cruise control is on, if you go past a street on the side and at the beginning of that street the speed limit is different to the one you're on, the camera will pick that up and the car will immediately start slowing down to that speed limit. You have to be still fully in control, know what's going on behind you, be a good driver, keep checking your rear view mirror, because if the car all of a sudden start changing speed and you got people behind you, you can end up causing an accident. So in moments like that, I tend to keep my foot over the accelerator to just, you know, keep the speed up at that point, or I might just toggle my little switch here to tell the car, no, the speed on my road hasn't changed, it's just that side road that you picked up. So you got to keep an eye on that. Heading up the M6 now, it's decision time because it's 9:30 on a Sunday morning. Should I go around Birmingham or should I take the M6 toll? Well, I'm going around Birmingham because right now on a Sunday morning it will cost me, wait for it, let's have a look, we're coming up to the sign now, £7 and £8.20 if you are, well, no, it's actually £8.20 because that £7 is if I travel overnight. £8.20 just to go around the M6 toll. Yeah, I say no to that. In any way, the car is telling me here it's all green on the real-time traffic information, so going around Birmingham is free, so I'm taking that option. Long stop this one. I don't even know if that light is making any point now. So we're at Staffordshire services, and yeah, so it's time to have some breakfast. It's just gone 10:10. We'll have some breakfast and do all that. I'm not going to charge here. I'm just going straight on. I got 38% battery, 112 miles the car is telling me it can go. And I've only got 53 miles to go, so I'm quite happy with that. 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, done 146 miles. So you guys, you know, I mean, I've made my point already. I hope you get the general idea. It's pretty cheap to motor in an electric car. Yes, the on cost, like when you buy them for the first time, it's a giant pain in the backside because they are not cheap to buy, and that's because the battery is quite expensive still. But I am pretty much enjoying what I'm using at the minute. I am nearly at my destination, so it is 11:45 now, and just about how far away? I'm 4 miles away from my destination, and I thought this would be a great time to sum up and summarize everything on this trip that we've learned and things that we already knew. So number one, these Hankook tires, they're rubbish in the wrong kind of weather, period. Okay, don't think that because you have all that weight and your car is so nice and so on, you can get away with stuff. You're not going to. You're going to slide off the road and you're going to have a crash. And even when I was being careful, the car was being a little bit leery. So that's number one. Number two, the car seems to lie to you, but in a good way, because when I left, it said to me, set off on your journey, stop in Milton Keynes, charge for 6 minutes, and then when you finish charging for 6 minutes, you will have 12% battery when you arrive at your destination. And I am 4 miles away and I'm sitting on 23% battery. The map, I find, is very good at knowing when the speed is going to change. I've gone through some temporary measures today where it's literally roadworks. It looked really temporary. They've put a speed limit restriction sign down and the car knew it was coming up, and then it knew when that speed restriction was going to finish, and then it brought the speed up, and it literally finished bang on the sign. Soon as when you're like about 100 meters away, the car already told me, hey, the speed is about to go back to 40 miles an hour, or it go back to 60 miles an hour. And sure enough, you look up the road and you go, oh yeah, look, it's right there. And these are all temporary things, so that's a good thing. So the final thing I'm going to mention today, and this is a direct one for the people who are hating on electric cars, just for the sake of mentioning it again, I left home yesterday with 100% battery. The car said it can do about 230 odd miles, I think it was. I might have that wrong. You'll see it shown on the screen right now. But I did my 2 stops. By the time I got to my mother-in-law in London, we're nearing 100 miles and it was sitting on 78% battery. Jumped in the car this morning, made my 1-stop charge for 7.5 minutes. And then once I finished doing that charge, it cost me £2.60. And I'm about to arrive at my destination with about 20% battery left. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a win. You show me which petrol driven car that you have got that's going to do the distance for that money, and that is if I only consider the charge on the road. If I consider the charge from home, where I charged at home and then charge on the road, £22. It's £22 is what I've spent if I consider the charge at home. All right, so I stopped for a coffee. We're not going to put that charge in there. And I had some croissants with me, so I had my croissants, so it's all right. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video this far. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe below and hit that notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. As I realize you guys like finding out about the car, maybe you're considering buying one, or maybe you have one and you want to see what some of the things are that it can do. It can do a lot. And I think if I finish off here now, according to the car, I've been driving for 3 hours and 47 minutes. I've done 198.5 miles. I've recouped about 4 kilowatt hour, but to be fair, when you're on the motorway and you're mainly just on flat road, you're not going to recoup a lot of energy back into the battery. And the consumption since the start of the journey, because I changed it to start of the journey, is 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. I mean, yeah. And I've got the temperature set on 18 degrees. My steering wheel is nice and toasty, and it is 9 degrees outside up here in the beautiful town of Lee, Greater Manchester. Lives in Wigan. So yeah, life is cushy boo.